Yeah, hey, morning guys. Look, I've just plotted this deck. There's a few things that you guys need to think about, but what I did was I started off with, so that's the boundary lines, and then that's the driveway sort of coming in there, and that's the little section out there. So I'm sort of taking that your boundary is, I mean, the right of way is right on the edge of this border. Um, So just going back to this, so if that's I've plotted the driveway line. If that's the driveway line there, we still, with this deck, we are 1700 away. Now, I wasn't too sure of what you want to do with the side. I mean, do you want to get closer to this driveway line, or do you just want a path of say 1400 wide? So, or did you want a sort of area out here where it is a bit wider? Um, I'm not entirely sure what your right of way boundaries are, to be honest. Like, I know that's a given line, but does it follow these angles, or does it just go straight through? So that's one item, is the side of the deck, the walkway, because obviously this will change this point. It'll move this point out if you decide to make it wider. And then just very basic, sort of a big level deck with not a lot of steps, all set up so it's pretty much flush with the floor area. You come out of the bifold or the front door, make these steps coming down to the entrance, make them as wide as lining up with the building. So it's sort of like it's sort of directing you to there. You could make them slightly narrower, but I think it just makes sense making them as wide as that area there. Now, the driver behind the front of the deck, 3 meters from the front of the wall to out. That's big enough for a sort of an outdoor table and chairs. And then just something very simple like a paver set out 300 mil out, and you could have some edge boxing or some sort of timber sort of creating this entry. I'm not 100% sure sort of how big you want this in terms of planting and how big you want the other side in terms of planting, because that will determine, if you know what I mean. If I do this and I sort of go and I move all these pavers down, if I move them all down, well, then if you did do planting, this would move further down, if you know what I mean. So at the moment, I've got a 300 mil gap and 200 mil between the pavers, which is quite common. So you'd probably have, if you had 300 mil there, you'd have another 300 mil this side, and then this would sort of be boxed in timber, running to wherever the path, to your fence line. I'm not too sure where your fence line's running. But you'd have all this sort of gravel or pebbles, like white pebbles, and then the pavers sitting in, or you could have this concrete or grass with planting. I'm just not sure what you want to do with this front bit, but that's what I'd do with the deck. 3 meters out, recess the steps in, so they're not sort of sticking out, they're sticking in the deck. And then it's a question of just what this path's doing. But that's kind of, I'll just show you on the 3D, it's very basic, but sort of you walk up, so those are the pavers. I'll just remove this planting for now, just show you what the planting, but you kind of walk down the pavers, and then you come towards the stairs which line up with the front door, easy as. You could do, if you really wanted to, which is quite cool, is rather than these pavers, you do like big platforms of concrete, and then there's grass around that, so that always looks pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just determining how wide to make the side deck, and then what's going on from the front of the deck to the pavers.